You know, I'll be honest with you guys for a second. I was feeling really useless this morning, and so to calm myself down I used a tactic I use fairly often. I sat down and remembered the Radiohead advent calendar exists. Like, f*** me dead, this thing is useless. Radiohead is a band that's been talked about to death. A band that has somehow endured for the last 30 or so years for being able to appeal to the most neutral of music listeners and pretentious music nerds. Mainly for the fact that they can make Creep and Kid A in the span of only a few years. They're one of my favourite bands of all time for this exact reason. These 5 guys are incredibly important to modern music in ways that extend even beyond the music itself. Like, sure, you'll see people praise OK Computer for its ingenuity until the cows come home, but a lot of people overlook the fact that these guys brought about some very interesting merchandise and marketing tactics for their albums. Stuff like the pay what you want model when purchasing in Rainbow Online, or the promotional computer-shaped radio for OK Computer that had the album so hardwired into it that you'd break the thing if you even tried to pry it out, were all really unique and undeniably revolutionary merchandising and marketing techniques at the time. However, since the release of the band's last studio album at the time of recording in 2016, A Moon-Shaped Pool, a lot of the merchandising has started to dwindle, with stuff like sweaters having poor designs in real life compared to marketing, or the really weird packaging of Kid Amnesia. It seems that with nothing much to promote, the team behind the merchandise has just gotten a bit lazy. Like, yeah, alright, sure, let me get the backwards Radiohead shit, like, what do I get out of this? But really, I feel like this lack of effort is no more apparent than when they released an advent calendar in 2023. I mean, it annoyed me enough for me to make a video about something for the first time in almost a year, so, you know, that counts for something. In November of 2023, the Waste UK site put up a few Radiohead products to celebrate the season. And, you know, they definitely range in quality. The blanket was a nice idea, and I mean, if there's anything to celebrate the Christmas season, yeah, sure, a Radiohead bauble that says, "I am to blame." Like, what the f*** is Santa gonna think when he sees that? But amongst all of this, by far, the one that interested me the most was the Radiohead advent calendar. I wouldn't say that was for good reason, though. Hell, even photos were pretty limited. I mean, you got a few shots of the advent calendar, but at the end of the day, no one really knew what to expect from this thing. Some bullshit, that's what. The worst part about all of this is that they were selling it for $30 US. And I mean, sure, that's not an outrageous price for an advent calendar. You know, if you look at prices for them online, they tend to be in that range, especially if they have chocolates or little gifts in them. But that's the biggest issue here. No one knew what was in this thing. We didn't know if there would be gifts. There definitely wouldn't be chocolates if they're shipping it internationally. What was inside of it? And then, of course, the fateful day came where people got it at their doorsteps. Jesus Christ. Absolutely the first thing you'd ask yourself when it arrived at your door is, why is this in such a thin package? I mean, sure, advent calendars definitely aren't thick, but I wouldn't call them paper thin. And then you open it and realize that's exactly the issue. It is paper thin. And that's the point where you start asking yourself, okay, well, what is inside this thing? So you open the doors. Nothing. There's fucking nothing. Behold, the Radiohead advent calendar. You like paper-thin bullshit? I don't, but Tom York seems to. This thing artistically seems to be inspired by the King of Limbs, you know, with all the trees stretching up and the abstract colours. Stanley Donwood's art is... Whoa. As I was trying to say, Stanley Donwood's art is nice to look at, but not presented in this format. Especially for something like the King of Limbs art. I mean, say what you will about the album, I personally enjoy it, but what I love about it even more than the music itself is the art. It is beautiful. If they were going to sell this art in any form, I wish they'd do what they did for the Kid Amnesia release, just have a big, thick book of it. Granted, the fanfare for that would definitely be less so than Kid A, and it's not the album's anniversary, but come on, a man can dream. And I think any man really can dream something better than an empty advent calendar. And I mean, the drawings themselves, as simple as they are nice to look at. Even the King of Limbs cover itself is in here. But man, counting down to Christmas is just not fun to do when this is the situation at hand. It's definitely not targeted towards kids like a lot of advent calendars are. The whole advent portion of it is getting chocolates or gifts and whatnot. And I mean, that's inherently not something you're looking forward to when you're a Radiohead fan. You're probably not even buying advent calendars at all. But something about this just seems so wrong. You charge $30. $30 US for some paper. Look, I love the band, but they definitely know how to charge for things, and sometimes it's justified, and then sometimes it's the $30 Radiohead advent calendar. Look, the more I think about it, I don't even really know what you could put in a Radiohead advent calendar that fits the brand, but at that point, that just begs the question, why make one at all? Hell, I would have been happy if you could at least take the art out of the advent calendar, as small as it is, and display it somewhere. But no, it's stuck in here. You can do absolutely nothing with this after Christmas is over. I don't know, at least put some lyrics in there or something. That would have been a nice inclusion. But alas, meet the advent calendar of doom and despair. Much like every Radiohead fan, it is completely empty inside. I don't know, look, there's not much of a point to this video. I just remembered this happening 3 years ago and felt compelled to talk about it for some reason, because something about it is so off-brand to me. Now, inherently, this begs the question, why are you talking about this in August and not around Christmas? I don't know, man, I just thought it would be a fun video to make. These emotions needed to get out, because if they didn't, I'd just be complaining in my head a little longer, and I don't need that. So, you know, Merry August and shit. Radiohead really are the band for the season, aren't they? Anyways, that's everything I needed to get out of my system about the Radiohead advent calendar. I really am a fucking loser.